Hi, I'm Rekha and I'm the Chief Trainer of Kalpataru Consulting. In this video, we are going to discuss on how to answer the PMP questions. So there are few things or few do's and don'ts while has to be considered when you're going to answer the PMP question. See, one of the don't is you may have extensive experience in project management, okay, but you should not bring those experience in answering the questions. So you may be working in a specific industry, your organization may have a specific culture or a thought process. You cannot bring that because PMP questions are in a as is, in a not in a real world situation but in a typical environment. So you may have your experience, you can bring the logic in considering the questions and answering the questions, but you cannot bring the same experience or the thought process or the structure in which you are managing the projects in the real world. Okay, that is one. So experience should not be a baggage to answer your PMP questions. And second is, you should not put your ifs and buts into the question. That is, if, what if this happens in this way? So you don't bring your assumptions into the question, but rather, I would say, look at the question as such and look at for the keywords and go by just the words which has been mentioned in the question. Okay. And another method to answer or to get the right answer is, see, it is a multiple choice question and the majority of the questions are scenario based. So when there are multiple choice questions, the options would be A, B, C, and D. See, rather than looking at the question as first A and then B and then C and then D, instead of that, go from bottom to top. That is, check out the option D and then C, then B, and then A. This is just a psychological trick. See, when you are answering the question from the top to bottom, when you're looking at the answer from top to bottom, when you check out A, and let's say it doesn't look like a right answer, you ignore it. You check out B, option B, and you think this is the most appropriate answer. And what may happen is you click on B and move on to the next question. There may be a better option as C and D. So you may generally, you may skip or you may miss to check out the other available options. So when you go from bottom to top, that is you are checking D, then you know that you have not completed all the options. So when you check out D, let's say it doesn't look like a right answer, then you're going to see, look at C. It looks like a right answer, but your mind says, okay, you have not completed checking the entire options. So you park C aside and then look into B. It doesn't look like an appropriate answer, leave it aside and then go into A. And A looks like a appropriate answer. So between B, C, and A, between this, choose the best answer. So when you are going to look out the options from bottom to top, that is D, C, B, and A, rather than A, B, C, D, basically you're tricking your mind to check out all the options instead of leaving the other options and going further, directly picking out the right answer which you think at that moment. That is one tip I can say. The other one, which I actually have already shared when I was explaining this, go for elimination method. Okay, do not directly go and pick up the answer unless otherwise you are very sure. Otherwise, go for elimination method in the sense, see, now you are checking out the option D. It doesn't look like a appropriate answer, so ignore it. You look at C. Uh, C looks like an appropriate answer, park it aside. So you have eliminated D. Now you're checking B. It doesn't look like an appropriate answer, eliminate it. You check out A. So now let's say between A and C is where you're going to choose the best option. So when you're going to eliminate, use this elimination method. It helps you to shorten the options, reduce the options, and from the limited option, you can select the best out of it. These are few of the, I would say, like tips and tricks as how to answer a PMP question. I am not in this video, I'm going to discuss two questions as sample as how to look at the question and answer the question. Okay, so let me move to the first question. So the first question, as you read, during the development of a software development project management plan. So development of a project management plan, the project management team decides to build a working environment where a self-organizing team can do their work without any centralized control. So basically here they are in the planning stage and they want to have a self-organizing team. What needs to be specially taken into consideration while doing a resource planning? So you have four options. Let's go from the bottom. That is option D. D, acquire generalized specialist. So as they are talking about self-organizing team, which is a trait of an agile project, acquire generalized specialist, it looks like an appropriate answer. Let's keep it aside. Then ensure, let's move on to option C, ensure that the project scope is defined in detail. See, defining the project scope in detail and the resource planning doesn't have any correlation. So let us ignore option C. Moving to option B, appoint a technical architect for playing a role of a project manager. It is like, yeah, we can have a technical architect as a project manager, but it doesn't have anything with the self-organizing team. So we can ignore B. A, acquire industry standard subject matter expert from the market. It also looks like an answer, but when we are going to look into this keyword as self-organizing team, it doesn't match. So B and A can be a right answer, but looking at the keyword, it doesn't have any direct correlation with the self-organizing team, right? So then when you look at each and every option, D looks like a more appropriate option, because when we are talking about self-organizing team, it looks like an agile-based organization project. Even if it is not agile-based, self-organizing, it's better to have a generalized specialist team. So what is generalized specialist? People are like, the team members have expertise in multiple fields. So we can say, I don't want to go in detail, but still to give a high level information about generalized specialist, we can say the team is expected to be a T-shaped team rather than an I-shaped team. That is, the team, instead of having knowledge in one core area, the team is expected to have maybe in-depth knowledge in one core area. At the same time, they have breadth of knowledge in multiple areas. So when there is a scenario or situation, they can jump into the other others' work, and support others in completing the work. So generalized specialist and self-organizing are correlated with agile environment. So D would be a most appropriate answer. I hope you understood how to look at the question. Let me move into the next question. So if you see this second question, a key stakeholder complains that attending all iteration review meetings would take too much of time and suggests attending only the end of release demonstration. The product owner is adamant that the stakeholder attends all iteration review meetings, as they are an agile best practice of frequent validation and verification of product increment by stakeholders. In support of their position, the product owner states that attending all iteration review meetings would help. See, basically, the stakeholder do not want to attend the iteration meeting. They want to attend only the release demonstration meetings, and at the end of the release or the release meeting. But the product owner insists the key stakeholders to attend the iteration meeting as well. So what he should state to convince them? So let us look at the options from the bottom. The last option is release the cost of repairing defects, reduce the cost of repairing defects in product increment. So it is talking about that uh, to tell the key stakeholders that it can help the reduce the cost of the repairing of the defects. Okay, it looks like a right option, but let's keep that aside and look at other options as well. C, build better working relationship among the team members. How come the team key stakeholders attending a review meeting is going to enhance the working relationship of the team members? It doesn't look appropriate, right? So let us ignore C. Option B, prevent all misunderstandings between the stakeholders and the team. It looks like an answer because like in the review meeting, it can reduce the misunderstanding between the, like any difference in the understanding between the stakeholders and team. So let's keep it aside. B, I'm parking aside. So D, I have parked aside. B, I have parked aside. And now decrease cycle time and reduce the number of work items in progress. Decrease cycle time and reduce the number of work items in progress. This is actually at the end of the iteration, right? Or at the end of the release. How such a meeting is going to help in reducing the cycle time or reducing the work in progress items? It doesn't look like appropriate argument to convince the key stakeholder to attend the review meeting, right? So if you see here among B, now we have shortlisted B and D. Among this, misunderstanding is a very generic term, which is more appropriate to convince the stakeholders to be part of the planning meetings, right? To ensure that we are coming out with the definition of the done. But when it comes to option D, see, when iteration meeting, if the key stakeholders attend the iteration meeting, any difference or anything which is not matching the customer requirement can be identified and rectified then and there, instead of carrying forward to the release, till the release. See, multiple iteration put together is release. So D appears to be a more appropriate answer. So among D, C, B, and A, D is a better option. I hope, see, these two questions are just a sample. It doesn't have anything to directly have anything directly to be connected with the PMP exam. But this discussion here or this video is going to help you, should have helped you to understand how to look at the question and how to think and look at the keywords to answer the question. I hope this video helped you to enhance your understanding of how to look at the options and answer the question. If you like this video, like the video and subscribe to our channel, and do watch out for more such videos. Thank you very much for your time.